Audio boys and girls, it's time for another Jeep Talk Show interview episode. Today we're going to be talking with Shelby and Adam over at Jeep Recyclers. You know, Jeep Recyclers kind of sounds bad. It kind of sounds like the old, what was that Obama thing, Cash for Clunkers? You know, where they were recycling things, but you guys aren't doing that at all. You're actually doing the Lord's work, keeping these old Jeeps going. So Shelby and Adam McDaniel are husband and wife duo behind JeepRecyclers.com, the go-to source for high-quality new aftermarket and reproduction parts for the 1963 to 1991 classic full-size Jeeps, Wagoneers, Cherokees, and J-Series trucks. Since 2016, they've been on a mission to save these iconic full-size Jeeps while building a business rooted in grit, integrity, faith, and community. What started as a passion project has grown into a full-scale restoration brand that's not only supplying parts, but teaching others how to bring these Jeeps back to life. You can find out more about Jeep Recyclers by going to JeepRecyclers.com. Shelby, Adam, thank you a lot for being here, and I apologize for having you guys get all squished up there. I hope Adam had a shower today.
Yeah.
Not yet, but yeah.
I know it works. It's time to get busy, not time to lollygag in the shower.
We spent all day together, so this is nothing new. It's all good.
Yeah. All right, so you guys are looking at 10 years doing this business. Is it a full-time business for you now? Are you guys able to not work outside the home?
Yeah. So this is what we do 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day. So
owning a business is wonderful, isn't it? A lot of slack time.
It's like eating glass every day, and and then asking for more the next week. So absolutely.
What's the average, if you know this, what is the average age of the people that are dealing with you? Do you find that it's older people that maybe were alive during the time of these Jeeps, or is it new people that are just finding out about the full-size Jeeps and they want to be a part of it? Or maybe they got a hand-me-down and they want to try to restore it.
I mean, I think with a lot of things you can get a lot of ages, but for us it's mostly 45, 65, I would say, would be the most common age group. And some are hand-me-downs, some are retired, and this is their passion project. So yeah, but I'd say 45, 65.
Yeah, you can only go to Luby's so much before you need something else to do besides just being retired. So how did you guys get started in this? Because you guys don't look like you're 45 to 65. It's kind of some young people doing this thing. How did you guys get going on it?
Well, I thanks for calling us young. So
it's all relative.
So I had a fitness company for almost 20 years, and I got up every morning at 3 a.m., went to work, got home every night at 9 p.m. And I don't know, around the 19-year mark, I'm driving home one night, and I just called Shelby and I said, I think I'm ready to do something else. And so she excitedly said, "Oh, wonderful." So I tried to figure out what else could I do. And as I'm standing in my backyard in Northern Virginia, I have 38 Jeeps, and I thought maybe I'll do something.
God bless you.
So,
the HOA didn't know about it.
Yeah. So we, and it was something I really love, so I really, anytime. So for the other business, if I needed to raise money, I'd sell some Jeep parts, and it would raise some money so I could start something there. We have a plethora of dogs and animals. So if one needed a surgery, I'd sell parts to pay for that. And
right.
Some of the best conversations I ever had were people showing up to buy parts from me, and some of the best relationships. And for me, that's what it's about, is really having a good relationship with people and enjoying what we're doing. So, and that to me just kind of smacked me in the face the next day. So here we are.
Now, I don't remember when the movie Twister came out. I think it came out before you guys started the business. But do you ever get calls about Twister and the J10 Honcho? I want to build me a J10 Honcho, and I'm not going to trash it like those bastards on Twister did.
It hurts us to see that.
It hurt me.
It just makes us want to cringe and cry at the same time.
Yep. It's one of Shelby's favorite movies. But that's we've been pretty fortunate with our social media, and some of the people who relive that and go on that same road trip, and they take those vehicles, and But yeah, quite a few actually.
Yeah,
Who needs a damn Dodge Ram? The Dodge Ram is what should have been trashed.
that's right. Not our Honchos.
That was a good movie. It was a really good movie. But yeah, I mean, it was, and what a great start of the movie, showing that Jeep, that J10 out there, just balls to the walls and blowing through mud and so on and so forth. And I see that and I go, wow. And I knew about the I think I called it the Honcho. Is it a Hondo? Honcho.
Yeah, you're right.
Honcho. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually I've seen Honchos around. I actually saw one broke down on the road, and I started to stop and see, because Jeepers help each other. But I didn't. And of course, I think if I'd stopped, I would have just been there looking really close at the the Honcho, because I think it was a yellow one. I think it was done up just like the one from Twister. And this was a number of years ago. It was after Twister, of course, but yeah, it was really cool. That same road that I would drive down, I saw a Gran Torino red with the Starsky and Hutch stripe on it too. So I don't know what it was about that area.
Where you live, that sounds like a good place to go.
Yeah. So that was always fun. Never could tell what you were going to see around there. Now, the Dukes of Hazzard Dodge Charger would have been cool to see as well.
All right. All our favorite movies. I guess they all have cars and Jeeps in them.
Yeah. Well, we have a roundtable episode that we or a roundtable that we have once a week, and some of the times we'll talk about movies, about Jeeps and movies. I don't know if you guys watched The Walking Dead, but there was a lot of Jeeps, a lot of Jeeps broken down and stuff, and I think they were like CJ levels. They weren't modern day or even like TJs and YJs. It was like CJ level Jeeps, and sometimes there were Grand Cherokees. I don't think I ever remember seeing an XJ. I have an XJ. That was my first Jeep. And we would talk about the movies, and Tom Hanks in Castaway. He was driving an XJ, a blue XJ, and and nobody seems to remember Taken, about the chase scene when he's in the white Cherokee. And he's, going on. It was a long scene and it had the white Cherokee. So it's fun. It's fun to see those things in movies. And of course, if you're a Jeeper, you recognize them.
Of course.
How many times we had to pause and rewind, and I go, did you see that? And Shelby's like, are we watching the movie?
Or that's not error correct.
Like,
it wouldn't have been available.
What is that? That wasn't available in that year. So
yeah. Well, it's like the Tom Hanks thing. It had a sunroof in it. And my 98, which I think that was a 98 in that movie, I had the top of the line Cherokee, and there was no sunroof.
Yeah.
So, I was like that, it's not that I initially would want one. I think it'd be more of an escape hatch than anything else. But yeah, it's fun seeing those things. And it's like, if you know too much about things, I mean, it's like watching a movie about a passenger plane. And if you're a pilot, you go, that would never happen. They have to do this. So it's better to be stupid if you want to enjoy, if you want to be entertained.
We have to always remind each other, just a movie.
It's a movie.
Just a movie.
Just watch. Yeah.
I like it. Well, I like it when my wife, I know we're getting way off track here, but I like it when my wife says, why would they do that? I said, it's in the script. It pulls her out of the movie.
That's a good point. You should say that from now on. Yeah. Good idea.
All right. So anyway, you had, what was it? 600 Jeeps in the backyard, and the HOA you must have had multiple levels of Jeeps back there. 83, is that what you said?
Yeah.
38.
38. And so, I mean, we had a little more than 3 acres, and it was kind of so we bought a property from the whole neighborhood. It was like FBI, U.S. Marshal, CIA, and the guy we bought our house from, we called him CIA, probably shouldn't say it, was CIA Dave. So, because everything was designed where you can't see it from the road, so for me, it was perfect,
Yes.
Everything was lined up, and it was just, it was just perfect. So, our front yard looked great. Our backyard looked like Sanford and Son. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Good. I hate the HOA. I mean, I know what they do, but there's stuff there should be allowed. There should be waivers for certain things that are cool. But 3 acres makes sense. So all these Jeeps, I think you said 38, these 38 Jeeps, were they all the full size, or was it a mix of more modern and less modern Jeeps?
No, I mean, I'm obsessed. So I kind of get the same type over. Well, so CJ7 and full size Jeep. So I've had quite a few CJ7s, and I mean, To say that we had a lot of Cherokees would be an understatement. So we had quite a few Cherokees, Cherokee Chiefs, and that's basically what I would build my vehicles out of. So instead of buying the part, which 99% of the time wasn't available,
right?
I just have to go source it and restore it myself, and that's kind of how I got into this in the first place. And the whole point behind wanting to drive what we do is to, make that easier. So but that's it. So that's basically it.
So let's say somebody is interested in having a full-size Jeep, and I imagine they are very difficult to find, and I would think they probably are even more difficult to find that aren't eaten up by rust. Let's say they do find one someplace, or is this something that you guys can provide? I'm not trying to sell your Jeeps, but is this something that you guys could provide a starter vehicle?
Well, as far as a starter, I would say more like our vehicles. I don't know how we have a little more than 60 at the shop right now, but they're parts vehicles. A lot of them are parts vehicles, but we do actually help source vehicles when people reach out and they're like, hey, I just want to get something good, and I want something that is not going to be over my head. At this point, we're fortunate enough to have so many contacts to be able to reach out to certain people and go, hey, so-and-so is looking for this. And we've connected a lot of people with different vehicles. And so
we don't actually sell them the vehicle. We connect them with somebody.
That's good though. So they can contact you guys and you guys can help. And then whenever they need parts, they can come right back to you and get the parts. So the thing that concerns me is, like I mentioned my Cherokee. I bought the Cherokee 98, still have it, driving a 2021 Gladiator now. But the Cherokee, I mean, I was using it going back and forth to work right up till the day that we got the Gladiator. But I'm a little concerned about driving the XJ because the factory sensors aren't available anymore. And I'm sure you guys have run across this, that the aftermarket sensors just don't last as long, and they're generally not as good as the OEM ones, which are expensive, but they work very well. So how realistic? I don't think that anybody would be driving a full-size 40, 50-year-old Jeep back and forth like a daily, but is that something that can be done, that can be done by keeping up with the parts that you guys provide?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. We do have some. So first, the answer is absolutely. Sorry, I'll cut you off.
Okay.
I get excited to answer stuff, so you got to excited. But we have quite a few people who still drive them as their daily. And
nice.
We have a customer in Australia who he restored it back to new, and it's his company vehicle, but he put a Cummins in it, and he's got a big Allison.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And he'll call me at 6 a.m. because at 6 a.m. here, it's 4 or 5 p.m. or something. And he'll just be like, oh, let's just talk all day. So
yeah.
He's the world's nicest person, don't be wrong, but they're definitely out there.
That's really, really cool. What do you see more of? And I'm assuming, you have interactions with your customers and maybe they share pictures with you. What do you see more of? A Restomod and all new paint, or Patina? Maybe they put some clear coat over the nastiness of the vehicle.
You talk to more people, so I have a general idea.
I'd say more Restomod, more new paint versus Patina, in my experience.
Do you see them going back with the factory or the original factory color, or do they go with new colors? Like maybe the vehicle didn't come in a bright red, and then they paint it a bright red.
Oh, that's a tough one.
So there's such a. All right, I say there's different cliques. So we have lots of different companies that we sell parts to, but they primarily restore it back to original. And then there's a different clique of people who they want them completely different from how they came factory.
Right.
And so I don't even, so you asked me a percentage. So I'm like, maybe 51%, maybe 38. So I'm thinking probably like a 50-50 because it really, the number of people out there they have ambition to probably go back to the original look.
And then there's that want to modify it, and they do a great job. I mean, we get pictures all the time, so it looks beautiful both ways. I just think it just depends on
the individual. I just didn't realize, I didn't know if which way most people are going. It's for me personally, it kind of seems sad if you've got a 50-year-old Jeep and then you paint it hot pink, or put stuff in it that wasn't factory. It seems wrong.
I think that even when people do a new paint, it still looks classic, even if it's a different color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see too many like outrageous paint jobs, at least, with, in my experience again. So somebody might change it from a white to a gray, for example, and it looks beautiful. Like, it looks absolutely stunning. So even if it didn't come like that originally, the paint job still just looks miraculous.
Well, I was coming home for work, and this was a different job, so it was a different part of Houston. But I ran across a absolutely immaculate Wagoneer, and it looked like Showroom. And I had a dash cam, so I definitely was sharing that with the guys on the forum that was at the time. And I looked at that and I was like, oh, I'm glad to see that. It wasn't lifted. It wasn't big tires. It literally looked like a brand new Wagoneer from the factory. And I want to say it was red, but I can't remember now. But anyway, it was really neat to see. And I couldn't help but think it only requires one person to run a red light or a stop sign or swerve into you on I-10. But I mean, that's what they're for, is to drive. I mean, God bless Jay Leno. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do, but having all those vehicles, where you walk around and look at them, it's just, at least he gets in them and drives them. I would have to have a drive vehicle.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I like to challenge myself when I restore stuff. So it was like low skill trying to match high skill. So I'd restore stuff way above my I would say my skill at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go to drive it, I just sweating the whole time. And
you're like me.
Oh my God, like, don't touch it. What's good? In the parking lot way. And it just got to the point where it was like, it's not even. Well, fortunately, whenever we drive it, somebody would flag us down and want to buy it. And I'd always say, not selling this one. And they're like, this is how much I'll give you. And you're like,
well.
And so it got to a point where I was like, I just want some drivers,
Yeah.
So, and I started doing at the Patina, the same clear coat, and there's ways to play with it so it doesn't look so like bright. I mean, there's so many different ways to play with that look, and that's kind of the way I like.
It kind of needs to be dull, doesn't it? I mean, when you have the Patina and it's real bright and shiny, it's like, what the hell's going on here? I saw one like that online the other day.
They're definitely unique. I mean, everybody definitely has a different taste, and I like and appreciate that. It just mine's a little calmer, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm jumping around here with some questions, but it dawned on me. Can you give me an idea, and maybe you've already done some of this, but kind of condense it down, what exactly you guys do? What is the reason for Jeep Recyclers? I mean, obviously you sell parts, but what all does that entail? You don't sell the vehicles unless you get flagged down, and the price is right. But as a company, what is it that you guys do?
You want to answer, or you want me to?
Well, parts. So basically 1963 to 1991, we supply parts to restore those specific full-size Jeeps. And not only parts, the goal is to supply the academics as well. So we're in the process of trying to, not trying, but rather making videos, showing them how to fix their own stuff and even save money. Because if they're buying a part from us that probably don't need to buy, we're going to try and talk you out of it, just the more that you can save, the more you can end up doing restore wise. But as far as the phrase save the full size Jeep, it really came from when I was 10 years old. My grandfather had a J, it was probably 65. I'm still not sure exactly what year, but it was at least a J4000. It was a dually, it was a dump, and he used it as as his business truck. And, he pulled a bulldozer with it. And,
wow.
And it was just the world's greatest vehicle in my mind at that time. And I thought it was the world's fastest vehicle because it had no exhaust,
Right.
So, but at the time, I just thought it was the world's greatest thing. And for me, it's just recapturing that feeling. And to be able to recapture that feeling, you have to be extremely resourceful. And my goal is to not make it be so you have to be so resourceful or know a certain guy or which is good. But if we can produce those parts, make it easy for you to find them, and make the experience pleasurable, that's our goal.
So, do you guys have anything on your website, jeeprecyclers.com, to help put people in contact with other people, or maybe sources that for things that you don't have, and if you don't have that, is that something that's in the works?
Well, first, I think one of the biggest questions I know that I get is, do we know a shop? Do we know a shop that can help them with certain things? So that is in the works of being able to provide more resources on our website to connect people around the country, because they want somebody that is not just has a good, credibility, but has actually worked on these kinds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to dump a lot of money, and you'd rather dump it with somebody that is trustworthy and knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
just to kind of add on to what you said, a lot of the shops that we deal with, they call in to buy parts because parts were thrown away in disassembly because they're assuming that our parts are like LMC truck, where just order a new front fascia, just order, just order,
it's not
doesn't
available.
exist, so
right.
should have thrown that away. So it's basically, we get a lot of people reaching out for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I mean, we have a very large catalog of new, aftermarket parts. So if it's a part that isn't available, we still have a lot of used parts from all the years of collecting that, we try to obviously match people up with. But if there's something that we can't find, I mean, again, we're always about trying to help you connect with someone who can. A lot of times though, that's part of my role is I look at who do I know, and then I actually do the footwork for them and try to find what they need outside of us, just to, make it easy for them. So yes, if there's something that they need, they can't find, they can absolutely call, and we'll do our best to find that part.
That's great. That's wonderful. Cause, I think it's good customer service, and hopefully they really enjoy that and develop a relationship with you guys, and then come back to spend money with you. But that's a lot of additional work. Is this a lot of phone call stuff? I mean, I get the feeling that the old Jeeps, the people are going to be more on the standard telephone than they are going to be email and direct messages.
I get it all, and I love it. I mean, I actually, before I joined, with Adam here at Jeep Recyclers, I had another company that I was also running, and it was all online, talking to people all around the world. So that's like my cup of tea. I love talking to people. And so we have a very different, very positive vibe when it comes to, to your point, customer service. Like we enjoy talking to people, and we do get to know each other very well. And so, when people call, I save them as contacts. Hey, Larry, what's going on? Like, I know it's them. I always address them by first name. And I have people that are like, Shelby, I don't need anything. I'm just calling to say hi.
Oh, that's nice.
How you guys are doing? So we've really created some great connections. And we're obviously looking forward to doing more, but that's what we want to keep providing.
So do you find, and I would assume that you have to do non-local, where are you guys located? And I'm assuming that you have contacts all over, because these people calling you aren't just local people.
Yeah, we don't get a ton we get people from all over the U.S. and
right.
international. So contacts are also, all over the U.S. that we're connected with, we've done business with, or had our own experiences with. That, again, if we're short on something in terms of a used part, then, we know who to,
Well, if they're calling for a shop, that's what I'm talking about, is like, well, you may know some local people, or do you have contacts for other shops across the country?
Yeah, we've worked with many shops across the country. So we definitely have contacts. It's just finding someone close enough within driving distance to exactly where that person is. And, if they're willing to drop it off, if it's 2 hours away, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that would be nice if it's only 2 hours. I think a lot of the times it's a a lot further, especially for some quality folks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So anyway, we were talking about the shop. I mean, the business and what you guys do. So, you get people connected with things, you sell parts, and you have, new parts and, used parts. Do you guys actually build parts? Do you actually, create things that aren't available or refurbish parts, to a like new, situation?
Well, that's a long answer.
basically how. Yeah.
Pick whichever one of those multiple questions you want to answer.
That's actually how we started. So
Yeah.
the name Jeep Recyclers, in fact, just to kind of drop a hint here, I keep smacking my hand. I'm sorry if that keeps coming.
That's all
I'm a
right.
very violent person. So we're actually in the works of updating and changing our name to fullsizejeepgarage.com or fsjgarage.com. And just to make it more user friendly for people to be able to, reach out. I mean, we have people reach out for all kinds of parts, just for the name itself. But the name originally was, or I should say, the idea originally was the restoration of parts. So I spent a lot of time traveling the country, going all over. I've flown. I've gone a lot of places to buy a lot of parts to come back, and it's fun. And we have a lot of parts for that. But I would say initially we were restoring everything to OEM plus. So most of the full-size Jeeps you've seen in the last 5 years at SEMA have had our vent windows, our clusters, our just different parts that we specialize in that we obsessively build.
Mm-hmm.
So small parts that have served us well. In the vent window, there's the little pin on the bottom, and I believe the XJ has it too. But there's a little pin, basically just that the vent window pivots on. We make those in-house. So we make those in-house, and I made it because I just needed it for the restoration that we were doing. But we've had people from Australia send us their parts to restore, to send back, and it's great. But we're slowing that down to reproduce and to really focus on more of the new, because if the goal is to save the full-size Jeep, I need to be able to work on producing more and creating more, and what's going to make the biggest difference. And restoring, I mean, I'll disappear for 15 hours staring at a part, and I love it. But the thing is, it's not going to help the community.
That's just one person, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we're definitely moving fast into more reproduction. We did some reproduction parts last 2 years, but we're going to be putting the pedal to metal on that, plus growing our new parts inventory moving forward. Yeah.
I can well imagine, I don't think there's a lot of people doing this, so I can well imagine there's somebody famous or somebody noteworthy that has contacted you guys for help. Does that ring a bell? Is there an individual or a company that's contacted you?
Yeah, David Spade used to reach out all the time.
Really?
Who?
The King of Thailand.
Oh yeah, and the King of Thailand. We talked to them too.
So David Spade is a level above the King of Thailand. Is what I'm getting from this.
Well, I say that because
he'll like that.
Yeah, and I'll send him different vehicles, and he's like, yeah. What else? And I'm like, well, here's something, So, but it was more funny to where so we would communicate with the King of Thailand, and hopefully this doesn't come back at us, but there was two people. We were talking to the restoration person as well as him, but they would come through the same channel. And so the person restoring the vehicle would come through, excuse me, good sir, dear sir. And the other one came through not quite like that.
Yeah, right.
And so
why aren't you kneeling, damn it?
Exactly. So it was definitely unique. Cool, but yeah, I mean, we I'm sure had others, but those are the two notable that are coming to mind, at least right now. So
I like the King of Thailand, but let me get you back to David Spade. I did not know that David Spade had anything to do with Jeeps. This is something new. So if you don't mind talking about it, I don't think Spade cares. He seems to be an open book. What Jeep or Jeeps was he is he dealing with, and does he?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm really good.
That's all right.
But so specifically, he was looking for a Wagoneer, and this was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was he didn't know a lot about him. He didn't know. I think he just liked it.
Mhm.
And so I basically, again, with the contact said, well, this is the area around you, and these are the vehicles I know, and these are the people I know. And so I was trying to get him connected with people I know to go for a ride to see if you liked it, if you wanted that.
Yeah.
And it opened the door for another person that we met who has a Wagoneer out there who I can't think of what he does. Or I know what he does, but he's more like a music manager or something, but he's in that industry. So he was like, oh yeah, I can take care of that. And so they got connected somehow. And I don't know what he did much after that. But I don't know. I just, the initial conversations that led up to the meeting of those two, kind of sad because he stopped talking to me, but, but a resolution was coming to, I would assume. So, but it was just enjoyable. So another one.
So you don't know if he actually ever got the Wagoneer or not?
I really don't. Yeah. Now that I'm talking about it, I should probably look it up and find out. Yeah. So
I think I have a theory. I think almost everyone at some point in their life wants a Jeep. Jeeps are so iconic and so different, and even more so with the full-size ones because they don't make them anymore. And when you see a full-size, you go, that's a Jeep, but I've never seen one like that before. That's wild.
When we lived in D.C., so I had all kinds of, I want to, for lack of a better term, garbage, but I loved it, and I didn't want to restore it because I loved it. And it worked exactly how it was.
Yeah.
To a Cars and Coffee event where in DC, I mean, you seeing a Bugatti or Lamborghini, it is, and we got more attention than they did constantly. Hey, where'd you find this? What's this? Or if we've had a couple of M715s, the military Jeep trucks. And that thing would just, it's like it stops traffic, people slowing down. And we have an M725, which is an ambulance. And that thing, it looks like a Disneyland parking lot behind you when you start your driving because they're all trying to go, what exactly are you? So,
right.
But yeah,
Agreed.
I agree. It's a common denominator. I don't think we've ever met anybody that didn't like a Jeep. So,
yeah, absolutely. So my wife has a TJ, and this lady that was older than my wife stopped her at Sam's while she was getting in or getting out of the TJ, and she started asking her questions. And this wasn't like what you would expect a Jeep person to be. It was a older lady, probably in her 60s, maybe older, and she was asking questions about the Jeep. So I always say on the show, don't want a Jeep all your life and then tell yourself, well, I'm too old, or it's a midlife crisis, or it's not practical, it doesn't get good gas mileage. Bullshit. Get the Jeep. Get a Jeep. Yeah. So
can't go wrong.
I couldn't agree
really
more.
Can.
Yeah. And to add your point as far as like the age, so in our last company, the fitness company, my very first client, she's 96 years old now. And she goes, my goal is never to say I'm too old to do this.
Yeah.
My goal is never to say I'm too old to try that. And she's sharp, man.
Bernice?
Yeah, Bernice. Yeah. So she can do all kinds of stuff. She put me in my place, but she's fun. So, and I couldn't agree more, so go get it, live life.
Yeah.
Man. I think they'll absolutely love it if they do it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a lot of fun. And, I don't have a Jeep to turn heads, but my daughters, will often tell me, oh, that guy in that car is just staring the Jeep down. It is really, I was, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not looking for people, looking at the Jeep, but, they notice it. So it's always fun. It's always fun when you have something that people appreciate, even if they don't know what the hell they're looking at.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So where are you guys going in the future with this? I know you're talking about changing the name of the website to better articulate what you guys do, but where do you hope to go with the company in the future, or just do more of the same?
Well,
we have big,
definitely not more of the same.
Yeah, so we're definitely making that transition, and Shelby can speak to the fact, but there's so many. We have so many ideas that we could bankrupt ourselves next week.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we currently have in the works that are kind of like molasses getting done, but still moving.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the future, actually having a catalog that you can look at, more how-to videos showing you how to do the things to, you know, a big part of having, I think, these vehicles is being able to remove the parts without destroying the parts, you know,
Right.
and that's it. And it just,
Oh, and I can well imagine breaking bolts off is a real thing on vehicles that are that old.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
it got loose all of a sudden. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. And just one of the academic points. Good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we really want the future of the FSJs to. Somebody wants to buy a full size Jeep, they should be able to look at that catalog and be like, okay, I need all of these things, and they're available. Shouldn't have to go on this wild goose chase. So we feel there's just so many missed opportunities, which are opportunities for us to step in, because we've got great contacts. I'll leave it at that, to really get into the reproduction of these parts. So that's the direction that we're going to take, and we're really we don't stop. I mean, we work 7 days a week, so this isn't like a hobby thing for us. Like we put the pedal to the metal.
well,
So,
it sounds like there's a passion here, and I think that's important that people need to understand. I mean, anytime you're working for free, putting people in contact with other people, losing great customers like David Spade, it's a passion thing. It's not the money grabbing thing. But you gotta support these folks, because if you don't support them, then they won't be there when you need it.
right on.
I couldn't
Do
agree
you
more.
guys ever hear from Jeep people? Like, it's not Jeep people, but people that literally work for Jeep, engineers. I know. I always brain fart on his name. There was a gentleman there that was executive VP over Jeep North America. He's not with the company any longer, but he was interested in getting a Grand. I don't know if it was a Grand, but a Wagoneer, and wanted one of the buddies of the show, who's a builder, a Restomod type person, to build it for him. And I can very well see, especially when you're in a position at Jeep where you have access to all the new stuff. You can take a new Jeep home every day, and then get something else the next day. It is cool whenever you have the heritage of the company that you're working for. Jim Morrison. I just remembered the name. It's the same name as the singer, but Jim Morrison used to be with Jeep.
I'm familiar with the name. I think we might be Facebook friends, actually. But
Jim's a great guy. He's been on the show. He's the only Jeep employee that we've ever had on the show.
And I think he actually still has that Wagoneer. I think he does the Toledo Jeep Fest with it, as far as I remember. And I could be completely off and wrong about this, but as far as other contacts, we've had engineers that were former engineers. When we go to some events, we contact, but unfortunately, I
don't know from specifically Jeep.
Yeah,
we got builders that call us, but I don't know from Jeep though.
I think we're still in the phase of like head in the hole, if that makes sense, so trying to like get all the stuff done. And so we haven't really kind of gone out and saw a lot of people, or I should say, unfortunately.
Well, you mentioned Toledo Jeep Fest. Where do you guys go? Is there a place that people can maybe go to an event and meet you? And do you have anything there at the event? Do you have a booth? Do you show things? I mean, just walking around looking at the eye candy.
Well,
we haven't had a booth since for a couple of years. We've through this transition, moving from restoration to new parts, has been a money mastering event. So
I'm
basically,
sure.
Eating half of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and not going a lot of places. I mean, we're fortunately starting to move into a direction right now where, it's into that fun phase where you can start to do more, see more, and build, and have dinner.
We just had to buckle down, and I mean, we've been.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years have been. And so it's really like right now, normally December is normally our slowest month, and it hasn't slowed down, knock on wood, and things are going the right direction. And, the champ here is on the phone constantly. So, but as far as to answer your question, as far as us going to events, I mean, we'll probably start going to, there's an event that John Hollabaugh, the Jeep Ranch Museum, he has, which is a phenomenal event.
It's in Gibsonia, Pennsylvania in May.
Yeah, we'll go there. And then as far as
Bantam.
Bantam. So those are But you know,
Do you have an old full size Jeep that you actually could take places to entice people?
one or two, yeah. So
Good. Well, I thought you may have sold them all. You know, just out there.
I'm kind of a hoarder, so we have two 65s in the garage, a couple of M725s, J10s. So
we have the
definitely have
10
some
four.
toys. Yeah, the J10 10-4 edition. Yeah, so there's definitely some toys.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
yeah, so they're absolutely.
Well, and where are you guys located?
We're in Katanning. We're just a little north of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah. West
So
side.
we have, and the gentleman that probably contacted you, Chris, he lives up in that area, and he goes to like the Toledo Jeep Fest and several other places. So we'll have to stay in contact. So if you're going to be at a place that he's going to, he can grab the camera and do a video that we can put up on YouTube, and just a short thing that we do on occasion. So
Great.
yeah, Michigan. I mean, he goes to Toledo Jeep Fest. Sometimes when Jeep has things going on, he'll go. I guess it's Detroit where he goes. I don't know nothing about none of those places. I'm a Texan, and I've never been there. It'd be neat. I wouldn't mind going to Toledo Jeep Fest, but boy, that would be an expensive drive or flight. So
Understood. Yeah, we'd like to go to Texas. So.
All right. Well, I you know how the kids love the social media, and I'm sure you guys are on social media. Where can they find you?
Well, I mean, obviously our website is jeeprecyclers.com. Our Facebook page is Jeep Recyclers, and same with our Instagram. And what am I missing? And our YouTube. Yeah, it's all just Jeep Recyclers with an S, no space or anything. I don't think in between, is there?
Oh.
No.
Well, you can go to jeeprecyclers.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see the icons for those various social media platforms. So that'll be a way to do it. But it's always nice to be able to get your name out there several times during the interview. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Continued good work and continued success. And I'm hoping that there's never a problem when you're sharing one of those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that you didn't use the right jelly, because if you use the wrong jelly, that half is like, well, I don't like that jelly.
Oh, we've already worked that out a long time ago.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So basically, you eat the jelly that she likes. I got it.
Happy wife.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks so much for being with us today. You guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll hopefully we can get you back on the show here real soon.
That sounds good. We love it.
Thank you.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.